It's Thanksgiving Day, and Tommy and Jimmy are at the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Hey, Tommy, I'm really glad you got us these tickets here for the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Yeah, I love coming out here. Hearing all the bands and the music and the balloons. So, oh, look, there's Felix the cat.
No, I think that's Garfield eating a piece of lasagna.
Hey, what's that coming up behind him? It's a giant turkey. That's like a goofy-looking gobbler, isn't it?
Yeah, but, what looks like one of the guys pulled the string too hard, and the turkey's flying all over the place.
Boy, that's one turkey I wouldn't want to serve up this Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but it tastes pretty rubbery, too.
Welcome to Baseball Biz on Deck. I'm Mark Carbett, your host, and with me is my roving co-host, and other than Mr. Brandon No Way. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, just roaming around.
Just roaming around. Boy, I tell you what, it's that time, man. And each year, this is the 5th year we're going to be celebrating the Goofy Gobbler Awards. This show originated on Sports Blitz Pod, and that's Brandon Noe's show from back in the day on hcc.com. So, wow, Brandon. I mean, you brought this thing into the world, and every year we celebrate it again.
I don't really remember how we came up with this. This was just like some goofy idea we had. We just threw together to find something fun to do for the holidays because we weren't going to be doing shows much longer. I think this is something that we came up with, and I guess it's pretty much the thing if we throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks, and it stuck.
Well, that's it. And to give you all a little brief history too, Brandon had his show Sports Blitz Pod, and I had Baseball Biz. Wasn't on deck back then, and both of the shows were on HCC. My show, I think, came immediately after yours, I believe. I can't remember flipping and flopping which way that was. Yeah. So, Brandon and I kind of met that way, shot the breeze. And we thought, what the heck? Why don't we do some shows together too? So did that, then COVID and everything else to boot. But the Goofy Gobbler, man, we like you said, we've tried to find something that has some fun. And you really came up with some great ideas and some great awards. And we're going to get all into that in a moment. But to me, the whole idea of celebrating baseball throughout the year is great. And what better time than Thanksgiving? We're recording this on November 13th, so we're a little early to the dinner, but it's better. But make sure we have all the ingredients in time. And now it's time for the annual Goofy Gobbler Awards. Take it away, Brandon.
Well, this is truly the pinnacle of sports awards. Forget Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, MVPs, ESPYs. The Gobbler is what matters the most. I mean, look at us, Mark. We are dressed up, looking straight out of a ZZ Top video. Some sharp-dressed men. And, well, this award, if this is your first time, welcome. And if you're returning, you know the deal. We don't take it very seriously. It's more of a dry humor, making fun of people award show. But hey, I mean, we laugh at ourselves. Why not? Just laugh at everybody in general, because we can all use some more laughs. All right, so looking through the awards, we have Grandpa Politics, Druncle, You Brought Them Award, the All-American, the Dry Turkey, and of course the granddaddy of them all, the Turkey of the Year. Those are my awards. Mark, did you have any for this year?
I've got the Deflated Souffle Award. I got that one in there.
All right, so the first award, of course, is Grandpa Politics. Now, everybody has that grandpa in their family that just, no matter what, brings up politics in some sort of way. When really we just don't want to hear it. We all want to sit around, eat turkey until we fall asleep. So, with that honor, the first award for Grandpa Politics this year, Colin Cowherd.
Did he win something in the past with the Goofy Gobblers, Brandon?
Yes, he did. This is his second year in a row. He goes back to back with the Grandpa Politics Award.
Wow, he and Kevin Cash got something in common. They got 2 back-to-back awards. Kevin with Manager of the Year and Colin with the Grandpa Politics. Ooh.
All right, so what made him be the winner for this year? Put him over the edge. Well, it's very simple. The trade deadline came around, and the hot topic was, oh, who's going to trade for Ohtani? Where's he going to go? And to be fair to him, he did say that he is a casual baseball fan. And you know what, Mark? You have the audio, don't you? Why don't you just play it for us?
You know how much you could get for Ohtani? I'm guessing. I'm a casual. 5 first-round picks, your best prospect, your third best prospect, and 2 solid starters.
Well, given how poorly the Angels have done in the draft recently, I would rather just take best prospects. Like, give me your best 3 guys in the farm system, Yankees. Give them to me now. Ohtani's yours.
You're not going to take any draft picks?
I guess I would take a couple picks, but I want immediate prospects that are going to help me now.
All right, 3 best prospects, 3 number 1 picks. Would you move it?
I would, certainly, yeah. I mean, but I'm like you. I want to win. It's in my...
Well, you can't trade. It says here you can't trade draft picks. I'm a baseball casual, so you can't trade draft picks. So you get the Yankees' 3 best prospects. I'm not doing it for that. I'm going to get 3 prospects, and you get the best player in baseball.
It's weird.
It's just funny every time I hear it.
Well, I mean, like you said, he did say he is casual in baseball. I think I'm casual in baseball, but if you're going to be a national sports analyst on this, I think you know a little bit of that. And when I saw the video of this with Colin Cowherd, he must have been looking at his computer. His producer was probably frantically sending him notes saying, "Cut it out, man. You can't do that. You can't do that, dude. You can't trade those." Well, give us the lowdown for casual baseball people like me, Brandon.
Yeah, to be fair, every other sport out there, at least in America, you can trade draft picks, but in baseball you can't. So, I mean, like he is a casual, but I mean it's the biggest thing going on at that time of year is the trade deadline. It's one of the arguably the greatest player to ever play the game could be traded. You think that's something that you would probably want to learn a little bit more about?
Oh yeah. So Colin Cowherd takes the Grandpa Politics Award. So Brandon, what is the next award, and who's the candidate for that?
It's along the same lines. Everybody has one of these, the Druncle Award, where it's just like, oh yes, please stop talking. You're kind of embarrassing yourself at this point. And drum roll, please. The Druncle goes to The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Oh.
And the newest addition to this story just happened a few days ago. After the Chicago Bears beat the Carolina Panthers, which is an embarrassment to the game of football. I'm ashamed to say I watched it. He said that the Bears are out of the running for the first overall pick. But there's just one problem to that, and his producers kind of did him dirty with the timing of it. They put up on the screen right behind him the draft order as it was at that day. The Bears were number 1 in the draft pick because they had the pick from the Panthers, who have the worst record.
Yeah, because I know nothing about anything but baseball, and I'm a casual guy with baseball. So you're talking football. I was like, oh, okay, Brandon, I'll nod my head and say yes.
So last week we had the Bears and the Panthers facing off, and quite honestly, an embarrassment to the great game of football. He said that the Bears are out of the running for the first overall pick after the Bears' victory, and the production team kind of did him a little bit dirty with this. They put up on the graphic the how they have the draft order when teams are talking draft in any league. Well, the Panthers have the worst record thanks to that loss. But there's just one problem. Because of a trade that they made, that draft pick belongs to the Bears. So as he's saying the Bears are out of the running for the first overall pick, there's a graphic that shows the Bears in the spot for the first overall draft pick.
Oh, well, that sounds like good planning.
It is. And, we got to get everybody in there. His co-host, Jason McIntyre, he said he was impressed by Giants' young quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. There's just one problem with that. He was drafted in 2011.
Oh gosh, man.
And there's another one where I'm not going to bring that one up. Never mind. I'll cut that
Well,
one.
so we're talking about the Druncle Award. Explain again what that is, the Druncle Award.
It's sort of like, how somebody's, they've had a few too many and they're just saying all sorts of stupid stuff where it's kind of embarrassing to themselves. It's nothing horrible, but it's just like, come on, you're embarrassing yourself at the moment.
Yeah, well, Colin, I'm glad you and your herd kind of really came in big in the award ceremonies here at the launch of what's beginning for the 2023 Goofy Gobblers. What else is cooking, Brandon? What's else on the hot stove of the year here?
All right, so back to the serious awards now. This one was a new one I added last year. Of course, Aaron Judge won it last year for constantly cutting into college football games. The You Brought Them Award. And you know how, Mark, I'm sure you've had it before where you go to a Thanksgiving dinner and, oh, look, a surprise guest. And, you act all happy to see them, polite and stuff. And then behind their back, they're like, oh, why do they have to bring them? I don't like them. Something like that.
Yeah, they bring the stripper girlfriend that recognizes you, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's always awkward, isn't it? All right, so the You Brought Them Award goes to the one and only Taylor Swift. Now, you might be thinking, what does she have to do with sports? And now, I don't have anything wrong with her at all. She's very talented. She seems like a lovely person. She has recently struck up a romance with Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. The only problem is she is constantly plastered on the broadcast any game that she goes to. I don't need to see her after every catch he has. I love love, Mark. You know that. I'm a hopeless romantic. But I don't care. I don't need to see your wife or your girlfriend, your husband, boyfriend, whatever. I just want to see the game. Now, I'm sure nothing wrong with her. She has some good songs, I'll admit. Can we calm down a little bit? I just want to watch the football games.
Well, you may want to just watch the football games, and you're going off in a direction. I'm just can't stand the whole idea of even thinking about football when we should be talking about baseball. But I got to tell you, no, because hear me out though. I think there's something to be done here with You Brought Them Award, and that is, I think we need to get a season pass to the Tampa Bay Rays for Travis Kelce. And a box seat up there. And so, if we're looking to some ways for teams who are trying to build attendance, we make sure we get season tickets for Travis Kelce to each one of those places that's looking to, build that audience again into the stadium.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. The marketing wheels are spinning in your head.
Yeah, wheels are always spinning. It's wonder if they ever touch the ground. That's the challenge, my friend. Oh, gosh. So what else you cooking?
That's what you call a go-around. All right. So next award, we have the All-American Award. Represents the good in the world, the best of the best, something that everybody loves. And now this might not sound sports related at first, but it is in a way. That is Matthew Perry, this year's award winner. He is, of course, best known for Chandler from Friends, an iconic character. And he recently passed away just a few weeks ago, unfortunately. What made him so special is everybody, found comfort in him. That was a comfort show for a lot of people because everybody could relate to it. And no matter what, that was just a character that, found a way to bring people's spirits up. So that's one thing that people loved about him. He battled addiction, and he even transformed his home into a rehab facility many years ago. That was one thing that he said he wanted to be remembered for when he passed away. And that was something that he was very proud of course, being a former addict and now trying to help others recover. But he was also a big sports fan. He loved hockey. And according to Baseballism on Instagram, he invested in the Field of Dreams site back in about 2012 to help them build youth baseball fields by the movie site in a cornfield. So, big baseball fan, and he helped people in many ways. So that is this year's All-American Award winner, Matthew Perry.
That's outstanding. That's an outstanding individual, and I had no idea. I'd heard about the addiction as far as him trying to be a leader to help people away from that. Did not know that he transformed his house to a rehab facility. And I certainly didn't know, as far as from the baseball's perspective, that, he had actually invested in the Field of Dreams site to help build youth fields. I mean, that's outstanding. So strength of a person like that, I can certainly see why you went ahead and you've given them the All-American Award.
Yes, and that was an award I was struggling to come up with one, and then, as more came out after his passing, I was like, you know what, I feel that this is just right to be the All-American for this year. And with that being said, it's time to move on to the next award, one of our fan favorites, and that is the Dry Turkey Award. And, I feel that this one hits home to us. They've won many awards on this show, actually. I believe they won one last year, or a couple years ago. They won the Turkey of the Year a few years ago as well. And that is the Tampa Bay Rays.
No. Well, what is the Dry Turkey Award? I mean, I know if I'm at a meal and what dry turkey is like, I guess, but what is it? What's the qualification for the Dry Turkey Award?
The spirit of this award is, if you've ever seen the movie Christmas Vacation, where they're getting ready to have their turkey, and, Cousin Eddie's asking Clark to save the neck for him, and he
save the neck for me, Clark.
Goes to cut it open, and it just sounds leathery and opens up, and just steam comes out, and everybody's kind of disgusted looking at it. That's the spirit of this award.
So knowing that, what was it? Is there particular pieces of the Tampa Bay Rays that helped them get the achievement to win this Dry Turkey Award?
Well, it was mostly the faceplant that they did in the playoffs. Looking back at the year, they had 99 wins. They started out 13-0, I believe. It was some ridiculous streak like that. They were top 10 nearly every statistical category. And then the playoffs rolled around, and, well, it wasn't pretty. Again, a 33-inning scoreless streak that was fortunately snapped in the 7th inning by Curtis Mead, the Bloomin' Onion himself. That's the second longest streak in postseason history. That means they only scored one run in their last 4 playoff games. And to add on to it, this came after the season was already over. Their new stadium was announced, and everybody's like, oh, great, the Rays are staying in Tampa Bay. There's just one problem. They're building it in the parking lot of the Trop. Now, that move alone right there could make them the Turkey of the Year, but once that is announced later in the show, you'll understand why. But it's just that's just disappointing. It's great that they're staying, but it just seems like you're paying all that money for the same old problem. And that, the Dry Turkey Award.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think it's kind of hard for me to give grief to the Rays about how things went toward the end with all the injuries, like I was saying earlier. Jeez, yeah, the whole idea about the location of the new stadium, if you will, that really gave me the taste of a dry turkey. I mean, I was so disappointed with that. And people would ask me, I'd work down at the Tampa Baseball Museum sometimes, and people would come and say, well, the Rays, do they got a stadium? They got it all figured out? Are they moving? Those are the kind of questions that come into me. And it's like, oh, Lord, I wanted to be able to just hand them a little index card, give my answers to them. Yeah, here's what I have to say to that. Oh, Lord. But the thing of it is that I knew that it would never be as good as I wanted. I actually wanted what we saw initially, where they had that dome building over in Ybor, and that was going to look so cool. I don't know how much it would have been feasible, but man, it looked cool. And I was really hoping for that it would stay over here. I said, stay over here. I should move over here across the bay from St. Petersburg, actually into Tampa. We've had so much success with. You look at the Lightning's hockey team in Tampa. You look at the Bucks in Tampa. And if you want to talk about attendance and fans, they're there. I mean, they're centralized. We don't have that same sort of centralization with the Trop where it's located at. And it's made a difference. So I was really disappointed when I heard that they were going to be pretty much building the same location, much like you. I'm just glad they're still here, though. So I'm happy for that.
Yeah, and I'm with you. It's like, I hope I'm wrong, but I can't help but feel that way. The fans are there. We both know it. They're constantly either one of, if not the most watched program on television in the Bay Area.
Yep. If Stu and company want to move those people from the TV screen and into the stadium, it's going to have a better placement. I know a lot of people whine and cry about that from up north. And another thing from you people up north forget about too is the fan base that we have down here is a lot of transplanted folks. So you have people who are coming up from north, whether it be snowbirds or people who moved here completely, and they already have a team that they put their heart into. It may be the Yankees, it may be the Tigers, it may be the Red Sox. So all these people who have come from up north and moved down here, they don't have the same buy-in with a local team, meaning the Rays, as they still have with the team they left behind.
Yeah, I mean, we had that problem with hockey, and how many Lightning stuff do you see around town now? It's a lot more than, it's probably the most you see out of any of the pro sports teams here.
That's true, man. So, but kind of maybe that doesn't really actually hold water after all. My argument there.
But this is an excellent. Actually, would you like to give your award first before I do the big granddaddy of them all?
The Deflated Souffle Award. That you look at that dessert, that's all been well prepared. It's so careful. You have to keep it just right. No vibrations in the room, because this pastry type serving looks so delectable, and it's airy, and suddenly little vibration and the whole thing just disappears. It's basically deflates, and it doesn't resemble anything that anybody thought it was going to be. And that award, there was actually 2 candidates for that one, and both of them were in New York. Well, and I mean, actually, in some way, you can almost say 3. One was the Yankees, and one was the Mets. And if you look, both those teams, high expectations were there. Now, we talked earlier about Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, he's there for a reason. Well, let's drop that part about Garrett. I mean, if you look at the Yankees, the expectations of that team were very great. One of the reasons was one of the best contracts ever given was given to Aaron Judge. So, yeah, you look at the contract that Aaron Judge got, man, the thing was huge. I mean, last year, I should say by last year, I mean 2022, he had such an unbelievable season. And, man, that's the sort of season you want to have when you're going into negotiations for your free agency. But, man, this year, it didn't measure up to last year. 23 just didn't look anything like 22 for him. I mean, he was just suffering. He was out so much with injury. He had that injury running into the turf by a wall out there. They called it turf toe, but it kept him out for so long. And he's a lot of energy with the Yankees. So I think that could have been the deflated souffle, but I think the biggest one may have been with the New York Mets. Good gravy. All righty. So why are the Mets there? Well, it could be because of how much money they spent for last year looking for that team. Their total for the 2023 payroll per sporttrack.com, New York Mets payroll was $343 million. $343 million. Oh, and right behind them, second was the New York Yankees, spending $278 million. Now, both of those are obscene. Okay. But you look at how, I guess the deflated souffle has to go to the New York Mets when you look at how much more they had on their payroll than the Yankees did. It was just unfreaking believable.
Oh, yeah. And then bringing in Scherzer and Verlander, people were like, man, this rotation is great. They're ready. They're going to take over New York. And then I guess in the case of the souffle, they had a little cough. And they went to hell.
That was it, my friend. That was it. And other honorable mentions. No, well, say honorable mentions. No, that's it. That's it. But so we're going to give it to the Mets. The Mets get it, bub. And it's unfortunate because I think Stephen Cohen had built that souffle that we all thought was going to be there. He brought in a manager we thought was going to be there, who's no longer there, and it just didn't happen. Things fell apart, injuries, etc. What you gonna do?
I guess this brings us to our final award of this year's ceremony. That is, of course, the big granddaddy of them all, the Turkey of the Year award. And this came down to the wire. I mean, multiple meetings had to be put on hold just because of the debate was so heavy. It came to blows. This team wanted it. This situation wanted it. I mean, Mark, you heard that it was getting nasty in there. After many weeks, months of tense debate, the Turkey of the Year is ready to be handed out. The winner, the Oakland A's.
The Oakland A's. What did they do to deserve this great honor?
Well, I put a question mark next to Oakland because I don't think they really know where they're at the moment. They want to move to Vegas. Doesn't really seem like they're putting the effort into doing it. It seems like Oakland, in a way, the fans haven't given up on the team, but they've given up on the organization. Because, they had the reverse boycott, and that just went with the constant disrespect of the fans. Constant penny pinching, trading away your best players whenever they get good. It's hard to build a fan base when that happens. Can't complain when people say, it's not worth it anymore if my team's not going to want to win. And, that just reverses the point that I brought up many times on this show of loyalty is only a one-way street with these guys. They do the reverse boycott, and then Manfred comes out and says, it was nice to see, an average crowd out there. Going to Vegas might sound good. It might sound sexy on paper. Business-wise, it may not make sense because Vegas may not embrace them because they aren't Vegas. When you look at hockey, the Golden Knights, everything about them, their arena, their uniforms seem Vegas. It's just everything's over the top. Whereas the Raiders, who moved there from Oakland, from the Coliseum, all of their home games are glorified home games for the road teams. And the Raider fans are some of the most loyal, passionate fan bases out there in all the sports. And not only that, they have no stadium plans. There's been no design. They want to build on the Tropicana site, but I think we went over this a couple months ago. That site is too small for a modern baseball stadium. It's only 8 acres, and I think the smallest is about 8.5, 8 3/4, something like that. So even then, it'd be very difficult to shoehorn a stadium into there. They haven't even held a season ticket drive to show interest for the fans. So it's like, do people in Vegas even want them? They haven't even gotten the chance to prove it. The Rays or Tampa Bay did it when the Giants threatened to move here.
I don't know, man. It's sad. I mean, I kind of played in the background there for a second or two, the whole chanting of the Fisher sucks thing about the owner. And it's unfortunate. I think there's a lot of fans who sometimes feel betrayed by their ownership, whether they don't feel like the ownership is fielding a team, putting money out to field a team, or invest in players when they're needed during trade deadlines, et cetera. It's fans feel like they own part of that team. The bottom line is they don't. The owner's going to make decisions that fans don't necessarily agree with. The owner has to be smart enough about, one, don't offend your fans saying things publicly that don't make sense, but also to realize if you're walking away from the table, if you're looking for a reason to leave, I guess go ahead and offend them. Maybe that's it. The other thing, too, you got to remember, each one of these guys, even the lowest teams, are getting a big piece of the broadcasting pie from all of Major League Baseball. So whatever revenues come in Major League Baseball for the Mets, for the Dodgers, et cetera, the lowest of the lowest, they still get a good piece of pie for all of that. So they may not say, they may not be interested in fielding a team that's going to win a championship or even a division. They're interested. Some of these owners, I feel like they're just interested in getting a piece of that broadcast pie that in some ways has not been earned by what they put on the field.
There's a reason that some people call owning a sports team billionaire welfare. It's guaranteed money. You see it in every sport. You don't need to be a genius to make money as a franchise owner. And like you were saying about the fans, they want their owner to be a steward to the community. That's what an owner should be. That's what they want them to be. But the owners most of them only care about the bottom line. You don't get the sense with a lot of them. They don't want to win a championship. They don't care. They just want to own a team. Maybe it looks good. They can show it off to their friends. They can brag about it. Like, hey, look what I own. What do you own? There's a little bit too much of that and not enough caring about the community, wanting to win, being, the ideal owner, like the number one fan, and you can actually own your team. That's what the owner should be. And it seems like we just don't have that.
Yeah, it's Steve Cohen, like I said, he looks like the model. Not that an owner has to spend the kind of money he did, and because he didn't get the results he wanted with his Mets. But you knew he was a fan when he first came on, when he first bought that team. And that meant a lot, I think, to the fan base there and to the potential future of the New York Mets. I think every fan wished they had somebody like him leading their organization. So we'll see what comes. I mean, I would say probably 90% of fans have found some reason to criticize their front office. The Rays, I'll criticize them, but I got to tell you what. I'll look at what everything Eric Neander has done to bring in talent, to build a farm system, to field a great team. And to me, that is exceptional. The other ones are trying to build on this model. You see other teams actually have pulled people from the race. I mean, even like Chaim Bloom, who was most like an understudy underneath Neander, and the Red Sox brought him in. They let him go this year, but man, they brought him in to make some hard decisions. Yeah, I mean, they had him getting rid of Mookie Betts, and I don't know that was Chaim's decision or not, but that's a tough gig. It's a tough gig. And you look at general manager, I'm kind of going off on a tangent a little bit here, but you look at another general manager, Kim Ng, the first woman general manager in Major League Baseball. And what do the Marlins do? I mean, she's great talent, man. She worked with Brian Cashman with the Yankees. I think she was instrumental in the contract with Garrett Cole. She worked with MLB for a while. And she's a smart woman, but the ownership, the front office wouldn't give her the tools, I believe, from everything I've seen, to make that next step for the team. And so it's not surprisingly she's no longer there. And that's something to me just really stings to see a great woman like that. I know that people are saying, oh, she's going to go to the Red Sox. No, it didn't happen. And it may have been a good choice on her part, but she'll land where she wants to, I hope. And it's anyway, I'm getting on one of my tangents here about ownership. So there we go.
No, it was well said too. And I mean, Kim Ng, that's like the Marlins' best year in almost 20 years. I mean, I'd hire her in a second if I had a GM opening.
I once had a boss who I really enjoyed working with, and my boss's boss, I'd actually applied for the same position that this fellow got, but my boss's boss said, well, I'm hiring this other guy for it. I said, well, you know what? If you're not hiring me, I said, it's great. But what you've got to do for him to succeed is you got to give him the keys to the car. If you hire a great talent and you have high expectations because of what that person's done somewhere else, you've got to give them the authority. You've got to give them the means to be able to execute it and deliver the goods. I'm talking about an old friend of mine, David Knight, and he delivered the goods wherever he was at. So kudos to you, David. Hello out there. But that's what it takes. You've got to be able to give the keys, man. And that doesn't happen enough from ownership to managers on the field and to managers even in the front office. So I don't know, brother.
Wise words from Marcus to close out the 2023 edition of the Goofy Gobbler Awards.
Da, 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 da. All right. Well, I hope that everyone out there has a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner and doesn't have anything that sounds like what Brandon and I have been discussing here for a bit. No dry turkey, no deflated souffle, none of that. And hopefully Grandpa Politics stays a little muted with a mouthful of mashed potatoes. We'll see what can happen, my friend.
Yeah, you keep the liquor cabinet locked too.
For the Druncle uncle?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, Brandon, and thanks for delivering yet another great Goofy Gobbler award show, my friend.
Hey, thanks for bringing me back. Have a happy Thanksgiving and happy holiday season. And, before we know it, we'll be doing it again next year, hopefully.
There you go. All righty, everybody. Thanks again for this special holiday edition of Baseball Biz on Deck with Mr. Brandon Noe and delivering once again the 2023 Goofy Gobbler Awards. Remember, you can find us here. Well, I guess you already did. And you can find us also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere. And don't forget to look also on www.baseballbizondeck.com. So thank you again for joining us here today, and we look forward to talking with you again real soon. Special thanks to X-Take RUX for the music Rocking Forward.